Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, today I'm going to be working on a figure that I've been mulling over for a while, and it's Doctor Who. Now this is the fourth iteration of Doctor Who, the Baker Who that I guess most people remember. I know I do, but you know I'm a little bit older, so maybe that kind of prejudices my I guess my decision to do this particular Doctor Who. You know, I found this head online and I printed it up a while back. So today I'm going to show you how I kind of like put this head together so I could use it with an S-type body. This is what I'm talking about right here. This neck attachment fits on Classic TV Toys S-type body that I'm going to be using today. I'm also going to be using a couple of accessories from their website. This is the floppy witch hunter's hat that I'm going to be using. I don't remember if these black rubber shoes came with the outfit that I chose. This actually was on a body when I purchased it. It's the, they call it their fat body, and this is an outfit that was on there. I'll put the link to that, but it has everything I wanted. It has this really nice striped shirt. It's got this really cool vest with a chain for the pocket watch, and some darker colored pants. I also picked up their maroon trench coat because I think it's going to go really well with this scarf that I put together. Now this is kind of like what was holding me back. You know, I tried some different versions. My wife even tried crocheting one, but it was too thick. You know, I just couldn't get it to the proper scale. So I'm going to go over how I created this as well, and I think it goes really well with the maroon trench coat. So I hope you stay tuned. I think it's going to be very fun build, and I'm looking at also adding an ally to my Doctor Who to help them fight off these Daleks, because they're going to try to keep me from working on this project. I can tell it already. So that's what I have planned for today. I hope you stay tuned. I think to prime this head, I'm going to use my air compressor and a really dark, like flesh tone. This is called Bugman's Glow, and I'm going to use this as my kind of like base coat. So let me get my airbrush together. I'm just screwing in the hose into the compressor, and then the other part goes into the airbrush itself. Pretty easy to use, or at least so far it's been easy to use. Okay, and I'm going to put some paint in the hopper. And you want a thin consistency. It's not quite 50-50, but it's pretty close. You know, to prime my head, I'm going to be using a mixture of water and this stuff right here. It's called Bugman's Glow, and it's a very dark or deep flesh tone. I'm just trying to get the consistency right at this point. I don't want it too watery, and you can't have it too thick. It's got to be about the consistency of like a bloody nose. I don't know if that's too graphic for YouTube. Let's see how that works. I can always add more if it's too runny. Looks like it might be a little runny. Like I said, this is just my base coat. Yeah, that's way too runny. Let me rinse this off and get right back to it. The good thing is I can just rinse off that paint and go back to it. I'm still learning how to use this airbrush, and I'm trying to figure out the consistencies. See, that looks good. I'm gonna add a little bit more just to be safe. Because I know if it's too thick, it won't come out. So, you know, I can just add a little bit of water. Let me try that one. I'm gonna do it on the paper first. That's probably a smarter idea anyway. You can get an idea for it. Oh yeah, okay, that looks like it's gonna work. I'm just amazed by this airbrush. Okay, that looks like it's doing what I want it to do. I might be out of paint though. Just trying to give it a good base coat. I think I'm out. Nope, I've got some more in there. It might be a little too thick. Let me add just a teeny bit of water. And again, I'm going to test it on my paper. Looks a little too watery now. Just going to add a little bit more paint. You know, Citadel does make airbrush paint in the right consistency, so I think that's something I'm going to try. I just had this on hand and I wanted to use it, so I think it might be time for me to get to Citadel airbrush paints. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this yet. I want to be one though. But it looks like it's got that color that I want, and it looks like it has a consistency, so my plan is to lay down this darker color and then use a dry brush for the lighter flesh tones. But I want this darker color to be in the kind of like recesses. And you can see it's doing a pretty good job of that. So I think that's where I am on this. I'm going to let it dry and I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the hair. I'm just going to paint the hair black. Okay, looks good. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and color the hair black, and we'll be back. I have my brush filled with water and I'm just using it to purge until the color comes out clear. I rinsed out my bowl and then I put some water in there and just kind of like having the airbrush clean itself. Looks like it's done, so I'm just going to wipe this off and put it away and be back with the finished head. Well, not finished, but getting that black on there. I had initially thought I'd use a black for the hair, but looking at some pictures of Tom Baker, I saw that it was more of a deep, rich brown. So I'm going to try a dark brown. This is called Rhinox Hide. And I'm going to use that for the base color of the hair, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put some highlights in. That deeper flesh tone is also acting as a kind of like a buffer between the hair and the face, so that you know, I'm going to have a little bit more definition there, and I don't have to be so careful going into the deeper parts of the hair. You can actually see that deeper flesh color here. I like it. It's like a rich red. I think it's really going to work well for the application that I have. Let me try to get this sideburn. coming along nicely. It's a pretty nice little head sculpt too. I had this printed a while back because, you know, my printer right now is down. I might do a video on it, on how I replace the screen, but you know, my printer's so old now, it's probably not even gonna be worth it. So I think I'm just gonna work on it, try to get it working. Because I have some other projects that are kind of like on hold right now until I get that printer fixed. I may try a smaller brush for this parts right here next to the face. Let me just get the large open areas first, I guess. And then I'll come back with my smaller brush. I really do, look at that. Look at the consistency of the face. That airbrush really works wonders. I need to become more skilled in it though, because I'd like to be able to just paint like the hair like I'm doing now with my airbrush, and try to get some pinpoint accuracy with that. Okay, let me switch to a smaller paintbrush. I remember Doctor Who was like on, maybe it was PBS when I was a kid. I don't remember. It was not on like a regular channel. It was on like the, I think it was on the, what was that band called? UHF? Or it was on PBS. I can't remember. There we go. I think I got the hair done. I may just try to tackle the highlights on the face now, because I may have to go back and touch up the hair. But you can see how dark that hair color is. It's going to need some lightening up. Let's see. I think this is it right here. Kids Love Flesh. You know, I should probably, I'm gonna let the hair dry so I don't get some of that brown mixed in. So just take a few minutes.
You know, while my Doctor Who is drying, I thought I'd go online and see if I could find him an ally. Because, you know, those Daleks look pretty mean. And I found this guy right here. That's a neat looking print. Might be a little bit too small. I want it to be about 3 inches tall. And right now it's only about 60 millimeters. 3 inches would be about 80 millimeters. So let me get that bumped up a little bit. I'm gonna go 83. Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good scale. It's a really simple model as well, so you know, even if it doesn't work out, I can go back and I can find something else. But I think this might work. Let me go ahead and support him. I'm going to reduce that support grid by half. I don't want to waste a lot of material, because like I said, this might be just a trial run. Now that he's supported, I'm going to go ahead and slice him and save him to disk and get him printed out so we can take a look at him.
Started removing some of the supports. I'm trying to be mindful of that tail. That's good. This is kind of a fun part. Let me get them off of the gold plate. And at this point, it's just kind of cleaning them off. But it looks like the size is pretty good. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks neat. I'm just amazed that you can do this stuff with, with stuff you can purchase on your own. Make your own little toys. I'm excited. Let me finish cleaning them off. I think I'm going to paint them silver and maybe just do a couple of details on him. Paint his nose and his eyes. But I think everything else is good to go. Look at that. Yeah, let me get him kind of cleaned up. Now that the hair is dry on this, I'm really eager to see how this paint is going to layer. So I've got my Kislev flesh, and I'm just going to take off most of it. I just want a little dry brush of it. Still looking pretty dark. Oh, there we go. You can see it's really kind of like accenting those deeper areas. I may still do a wash, but I think that this might just work. And you can see I'm going to have to repaint some of these areas on the hair because I'm getting a little bit of paint on them. Let me try a bigger brush. That gives you kind of an idea of how it's going to look. I'm just going to dry brush a little bit more in there. Get the neck done. Yeah, you can see where I'm going to have to repaint that hair. Or let me try highlighting it first and see if that works. But what I wanted is I wanted to kind of like deepen those areas that are shadows in the face. And it looks like that's doing a pretty good job. Kind of like an alternative to a wash. Probably will still have to do a wash, it looks. It looks like that's going to be something I'm going to have to do. But I do like the way it's defining those darker areas. And I think that's going to let me come back and do a wash. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to touch up these areas that I went into the hair on. But I think that's looking pretty good. For my hair highlight, I'm using the Zandri dust. Shaken up. It's too much. Then I'm going to come back with a brown wash, or maybe even a black wash. But that's how that's going to look once it's highlighted. As you can see, there's a lot of detail in that hair right there. And that dry brush is bringing them out. Looks like I got a little too much paint there. Okay, let me do some touch up and we'll move on to the next step, which I think is kind of cleaning up the face a little bit. I'm going to try a wash in there and then come back and I guess accentuate the areas that need to be a little bit lighter. To do that, I'm just going to use my straight Kislev Flesh, and I'm going to paint areas like the bridge of the nose, the forehead. This paintbrush is goopy. Let me try this one. And you can see I'm just concentrating on the cheeks and the natural areas that are raised. And I'm also fixing this area here that I got a little too much of the brown paint on. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm really trying to maintain the shade areas. just trying to highlight the cheeks. And here on the upper lip. At this point, I'm just kind of trying to blend in the colors. Leaving the darker areas underneath the hair, kind of like those areas in the recess. That darker flesh tone. There we go. See, I maintain that darker color underneath the eyes a little bit. Try to lighten up the cheeks. Kept that color underneath the chin, just to kind of give it a layered look. So that's what I have so far. I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna come back, touch up those areas of the hair that I need, and maybe do a wash on that. Maybe do a wash on the face as well. I'm just drawing in that jawline. I think that's good for now. I'm just doing a quick dry brush. Just to cover those areas that I added, the highlighted areas, and just kind of like evening out the skin tone. Oops, it's too much. I think that looks a lot better. Now to bring down some of those areas that have a little bit too much highlight, I'm using a contrast. This is called Dark Oak Flesh, and it's like a soft brown. And you can see it's bringing down those highlights a little bit. Still need to go back and do some touch-up, but that highlight up there was bugging me. It was just a little too much. It's already looking a lot better. To do the touch-up, I'm using that Rhinox hide, that dark brown, because most of the areas are just really next to the face and picked up a little bit too much of the flesh tone that I was putting down. So you can see I'm just going back and I'm just putting that black paint back. I'm not black, it's dark brown. And I'm just putting that dark brown paint back where I lightened it up too much. I'm just doing in the darker areas here. Well, it looks like I got some by the ear. Let me take care of that. Okay, it looks like everything else is pretty good. Okay, so that's my Doctor Who touched up. Next thing I'm going to do is take care of the eyes. Right now I'm painting the whites of the eyes. And I'm trying to stay in between the lids. I went a little too far on this one. But I'm thinking maybe I can just go back and I can use a wash. Kind of bring that back. Let me see, I have this Gilman Flesh wash right here. And I'm just going to put it into the upper eyelid. And you can see that just gives me a little bit of definition right there between that eye and the eyelid. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Looks like I got a little into the eye. I don't think that's a problem. And then for the eyebrow, I'm using that dark oak flesh contrast because his eyebrows are very, very thin. You can see this contrast has let me do a very thin brow. And it's also kind of blending in pretty well. For his eye color, I'm going to use something called a Space Wolf's Gray, and it's also a contrast paint. And for the eye, I'm just going to try to center it, but push it into the upper lid. Same thing on this side. and then just bring it down to the lower. If you get it into the lower lid, that's not a problem. So you can always come back and use your, where is that color? Layered Kislev flesh to reestablish that lower lid. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. It actually came out well. Okay, now the lips. For that I'm going to use a darker flesh tone. This is called Cadian. I'm just going to push it into his lips. That. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to add to my Doctor Who. Looking pretty good. I think that's probably it. Yeah, I think he looks pretty good. I was going to try a wash, but I still have those darker lines. You know what? Let me I'm going to try a little bit of a wash. Where is that one? I have that contrast Gilliman flesh. And this less is more. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to leave well enough alone. Let me go ahead and get him covered with my clear coat. I use a matte clear coat enamel. And let me get him dressed and we'll take a look at him. Well, as you can see, I got my Doctor Who all dressed up. And he's got this wonderful scarf. You know, this scarf came from a pen pal friend of mine in the UK. I told him I was working on a Doctor Who, and he had this made. He had one made for himself, and then he also made one for my figure as well, and it's just really cool. Look how he matches the jacket almost identically. But you know what? Maybe you don't have a pen pal friend like Richard, and you want to come up with your own scarf option for Doctor Who. Now, you know what? I don't know where this fabric came from. I don't know if you get this fabric, but I came up with an alternative for those people who wanted to put together their own Doctor Who with something that's kind of like commercially available. And I found this. This is the kind of like the best option that I found out there. And it's a ribbon. And this ribbon came from Hobby Lobby. And it was $3.99. And it's called Merchant 41. That's the brand. And the style is blue multi printed ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of this ribbon. And I'm going to use it to create a scarf. I think I measured it out earlier. Oh yeah, here's my cut right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this at the mark I made. And I have a pretty good section of ribbon there. It's almost as big as this one here. I think this one might be a little bit long. I mean, that looks cool though, doesn't it? I mean, his scarf was ridiculous. Oh, you know, I haven't wound it around his neck either. Yeah, that would take up some of the slack. Ooh, I hope this isn't too short. Well, I'm gonna go with this right now. So I have my scarf. Let me get my Doctor Who out of the way. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it. I might have to, let me do it on here because I'm gonna have to do some gluing. And I've got this fabric glue. It's called No-So. I also got that at Hobby Lobby. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scarf and I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to glue it little by little. So I'm going to start over here on the edge. I'm just trying to put down a good bead of glue there. And I'm going to just fold it over. Sorry, my wife came in. So I have it held here. And I'm just going to continue down the length of this. Folding it in half the entire way. And using the glue or the adhesive to kind of like keep it together. And then I think the final step I'm going to take is I'm going to iron it. So you can see I'm just taking it, folding it all the way down. And it's going to create a pretty neat multicolored scarf. The trick here is just to make sure that you're folding it in half. I think that's about the hardest thing. You know, it's starting to come up a little bit. Let me take it to my ironing board and I'm going to iron it real quick. I put a little parchment paper down because I don't want to get glue on the ironing board. I think that might end my crafting channel pretty quickly if I get my wife mad at me. Yeah, that's working out really well. So let me complete it using this method. So I guess pro tip, start on the ironing board first. You may or may not have to put down parchment paper. Just depends on your relationship with your significant other. Perhaps you do all the ironing and you don't care if you get a little glue on your ironing board. It's also causing the glue to activate. Be careful not to burn your fingers. Oh, it's working out better than I expected. All right, let me take it back to the table. All right, I'm going to cut the ends off because I want them to be a little more consistent. So I'm going to have that green block at the end. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some like tassels, just by cutting, you know, little strips. So I get a little tassel. You can also see I have a little side project going on for my canine. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and I think I'm done with the scarf. I think that's going to look good. Let me get it on my figure and we'll take a look at him. You know, everything has just come together on this figure and it just looks great. You know, you'll notice that I printed up a sonic screwdriver for him. I found those files online too. But Canine looks fabulous. The outfit, it looks like it was made for Doctor Who. I did add a red tie. I had a burgundy tie in my junk drawer. So I'll put a link to that. I also got that from Classic TV Toys, but I didn't get it for the specific build. I got it a while back. But you know what? It ties in really well with the jacket. And I noticed in some of the pictures he did have a tie. I don't know if it's a cravat or if it was a tie, but I put the tie in there and I think it just ties everything. Sorry. It just pulls everything together. But really happy with this figure. Is it worth doing the airbrush? I don't know. I think I've gotten a little extra detail out of that face. You know, especially around the eyes. So using that dry brush in conjunction with my airbrush, I think kind of is a winner. I'm going to try it on some other things too. Because you would, I don't know, you could probably just get away with painting that red color as a base with a brush. But I'm thinking if you want to preserve some of the detail, maybe you want to go with a lighter mixture of paint, and that's where the airbrush would come in. But I don't think it's a necessary step on this. It's just I got the airbrush, so I want to try it out, and I want to see what it can do. I really need to work on getting precision with it so that I can tackle like smaller areas and use it more often. Because I think it's a neat tool. Is it needed for this figure? No. But I'm really happy with the way the face did turn out. I am going to use that darker red color as a base. I think that's a great idea. So overall, just really happy with my Doctor Who. I don't think I'm going to stop either. I think I have some other things in the works. A Davros would be cool. And I found a sculpt online. I've also found some other sculpts. Maybe some Cybermen enemies would be neat. I found some stuff online for them. But until next time, I think this kind of ends our chapter of Doctor Who for today. Till next time, stay safe and be cool, and I'll see you guys real soon. Well, bye now.